Okay, so we're away. So welcome everybody today to another National Geographic Learning webinar. And today we're looking at being ready for life by being ready to laugh or laugh, depending on where you're from, how you pronounce that word. So today we're going to look at some ideas around humor and laughter, but it's really an English language learning lesson, right? This is for our learners to practice and build their English skills, okay? So if you don't know me, my name is Andrew. I'm a senior academic consultant at National Geographic Learning. I've taught lots and lots of things over the years, and this is one of the programs that I like to work with. It's called Reflect. Now, just before we get started, I think most people are okay, but just if you make sure your chat options are set to everyone, as in the image here, just above where you type, you can select the drop down. That makes sure everybody can see your message. So we can all chat together. And if you have questions during the session, just use the Q&A function and then I'll make sure to answer them at the end. I like to make sure all your questions are answered. Okay, so today, as I said, we're looking at this particular session about the topic is kind of ready to laugh, getting ready to enjoy humor or to be humorous. And it's from a program called Reflect. And the topic we've given here is ready for life, because when we are in life, there are many, many skills that we need to operate well in today's kind of world. It's not just technical skills anymore. There's lots of other skills we need. So on this list of 12 that we put together as some of the top skills, which ones do you think relate to humor, which is kind of our topic today of being ready to laugh? Which ones relate to humor, do you think? Just either drop the number or the words in the chat box. Which ones relate to humor? Number one and number three, okay, so a little bit of adaptability, yeah, a little bit of communication skills, a bit of creativity, emotional intelligence, yeah, some of these things, right? So I'll just circle some off as people are saying them. Number six, communication skills, yep. Number 10, some active learning, maybe, right? Because when you're being involved in humor, then it can help you learn new things like new meanings for words or new ways to think about words, things like that as well. Yeah, so there's lots of these things which involve humor. Okay, so you've got a little bit of problem solving here. Okay, maybe, but some critical thinking. Leadership skills, maybe, yeah, because people who tell, who are good at telling jokes, sometimes they're also good at encouraging people, motivating people, leading people. They're speakers, right? So it could be tied into that as well, being able to stand on the stage and tell a joke, that kind of thing, right? Nice. Okay, so you can see that this topic, while seemingly just kind of a fun topic, actually, it can help our students develop lots of different skills along the way or be exposed to different skills. Okay, now today I'm going to be doing something a little different. What we often do with these model lessons is we go through one part of one program. Today I'm doing two parts of one program because the Reflect program has two pieces to it. It has a listening and speaking series of materials, and it also has a reading and writing series of materials. And I'm going to do a little bit of each today. Okay, so I'm going to do a bit of listening and speaking with some video, and a little bit of listening and some discussion. And then we're going to do a little bit of reading. I probably won't get time to do much about the writing, but I will quickly show you what's there. I'll quickly describe it so you can see how it works. Okay, cool. Now, the other thing today, the level of what I'm working on today, the program today is at a B2 level. This is a bit higher than I normally do examples with, which means with our students, they know a lot more by B2 level. They're very conversational at this level. They've got a good ability to use their language and to express their ideas. So this is why this particular topic works well at this level, but this topic wouldn't work well at like the A2 level, for example, right? Because the students just don't know enough language yet or don't have a good enough grasp of English. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is let me jump over to the classroom presentation tool. And I'll pretend to be the teacher from now on. So on the screen, what can you see? What can you see on the screen? What is here? Clowns, very true, right? Yes, these are two clowns. They are at a particular place or circus in Spain. These are Spanish clowns. Okay, and obviously they're having a bit of fun down here. They're finding out what's funny. But when you look at that picture, it's like, what do you think about their two expressions? So what do you think the expression of the clown on the right, what's What's his expression trying to share? Maybe being surprised? Yeah, could be, right? Sometimes when I look at that picture, I think of something like him laughing out loud. He's like, oh, like something like that. Could be something like that, right? What about the one on the left? How does he look? How does he feel? Maybe confused? Yep. Yeah. Maybe he looks like a little bit slow or dim-witted as well. Not so happy, maybe. Yeah. I think he's got a very interesting kind of good expression for a clown. It's like, oh, I don't know, right? Something like that. It's kind of interesting, right? Interesting expression. Okay. Now let's learn, before we get into this, let's learn a little bit more about clowns. I'm going to jump across to the whiteboard I've got here. Cool. Here we go. So if you have a look here, there are some words missing from this description. This description is in the classroom presentation tool. I'm just not showing it because it shares the answer straight away. Okay. So the oldest recording of a character similar to a clown comes from Egypt around when? When do you think? So we've got 4 things we're going to try and fill in here. What do you think? What do you think here? When did we have clowns in Egypt? So what's hidden behind what's funny here? Any ideas? I'll give you a hint. It's definitely BC, right? So more than 10,000 years ago. It's more than 2,000 years ago, sorry. Because the Egyptians were at the height of their powers, like here. So Nels is saying about 200 BC. Cool. Any other guesses? 10 is saying 10 AC or CE, Common Era. 600 BC. Okay. Okay. Well, actually, the answer is 2,400 BC. Wow, that's a long time ago, right? Wow. So almost 4,500 years ago, some of the first recorded ideas of clowns. That's a little bit surprising. But then again, why is that not surprising? Why would you not be surprised that the idea of a clown is such an old idea? Why do you think that might be the case? Any thoughts? So why did we have clowns so long ago? Yes, natural Nels, exactly. It's a natural part of human life. Like humor or laughing is just part of being a person, right? It's part of people. So as long as there's been people, there's probably been people doing jokes and telling stories that are funny and things like that, and there can be the idea of clowns, right? Yeah, totally. Okay, now, however, the word clown was not used until when in England? So we're specifically meaning this word, because obviously the Egyptians didn't say clown, they said something else, right? In fact, I looked it up in German, if the translator is right. The word for clown in German, I believe, is Komiker. So that's the word in German. But when did the word clown appear in English? Any ideas? Any idea when the word clown appeared in English? So what's hidden behind box number 2? No ideas? No ideas. Okay. It actually happened around, yeah, the 16th century. Yeah, somewhere around Shakespeare's lifetime, not far off, right? Yeah. So the word clown is from that period. And there's a very similar word in Danish, which I looked up because I was trying to find where it came from, called kloven, which is probably where the word clown comes from. It's probably an anglicization of a Danish word, because English is a messed up language. English is made of all sorts of things, right? Okay, now, clowns are usually use what kind of comedy and foolish, silly behavior to get? What kind of comedy do clowns use? Slapstick, that's a good word. I like that word. We're going to see more about that later, Nils. Slapstick comedy is one example. And slapstick is what kind of broad kind of comedy is slapstick? Visual comedy, they can, yeah, but clowns often use physical comedy. They fall over, they hit things, they bump into stuff, they do things that are very physical, right? Yeah, very good. Okay, now, this is the interesting one. Many people have strong reactions finding them either something or something. What goes under here? Scary, creepy, funny, or scary. Exactly, Adeline. Adeline, yes, right. Adeline, sorry, gasoline, Adeline, right, very good. Very funny or very frightening, right? Yeah, so who in the chat box is scared of clowns and who thinks clowns are just funny? Let me know in the chat box, I'm curious. And in class, if we had time, we would discuss why you feel that way, because sometimes it's a story from your past that explains why you find them frightening or scary, perhaps. Sometimes a bit of both, sometimes creepy. Yeah, lots of things, right? Sorry, I need a drink. Okay, yeah, so everybody's a little different, right? No two of us are the same in how we feel about clowns, right? And even some clowns a person might find funny and other clowns they might find creepy or scary. That can be true as well, yes. Like the Joker, exactly, Xingqiu. Yes, very good, right? Yeah, okay, good one. Okay, so let's jump back, get back into our material here. So we've had a little look at clowns. There's a couple of questions, but we'll skip over those for now. So we're going to jump in and look at a little bit of vocabulary. Because I'm doing two parts of different materials today, I'm going to go fairly quick. So you can see some words on the screen here. These are words our students will learn in this lesson. So comedian, deliberately, essentially, exaggerated, humorous, logical, problematic, reality, relieve, and victim. Okay. But what we're going to do now is we're just going to jump straight into this vocab activity down here, because I know you know these words already. So let's jump in down here. And sometimes your students do too, right? And we're just going to do the top 5. There are 10 here, but we're just going to do the top 5. So one of these words goes in each of these spaces. So let's try and see if we can do them. So number 1, if someone can tell a good joke or a something story that makes people laugh, they often find it easier to make friends. What do you think? What goes in box number 1? Humorous. Okay. Humorous. There we go. Okay. Number 2, many jokes are something because they are hurtful to a person or group of people. We really need to stop telling these kind of jokes. Many jokes are offensive. Well, yeah, the word offensive is not here, Nils, but what is a similar word? Exaggerated, maybe. Oops. Problematic. Yeah, so Nels said, what did Nels say? Offensive. And I think problematic probably fits more with offensive. So let's go with problematic. We'll see if that works, right? So it's good to bring up new words as Nels did, because sometimes it's that word that you know, and then you can say, no, which word is similar to that? So I think problematic and offensive, that seems to work. Okay, a lot of my friends think they can tell funny stories, but the is that only a few of them are good at it and can make me laugh. What word goes here? The reality. Good. Okay, nice. Okay, cool. Yeah, not the real. Real would be if something is real, that's a noun. The reality of it is it's the adjective, right? Okay. Oh no, it's a different form of noun, isn't it? Sorry. Okay. I don't like stories that don't make sense. If a story is not, I don't find it interesting. Okay, if it makes sense, if it doesn't make sense, you don't like it, I like it, then it's logical. Yeah, it makes sense. Very good. Okay, now I love puns. They're jokes where the wrong meaning of a word is used. For example, did you hear about a guy who lost the left side of his body? He's all right now. Do you get that one? Okay, so even if you don't get that one, what's the word that goes in the gap here? I love puns. Now, it's got something comma. That gives you an idea. Deliberately, there are jokes where the blah, 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 blah. Essentially, okay, which one? Okay, we got a few more votes for essentially, so I think that's it. So what does essentially mean? Essentially means kind of in summary, basically, right? This is what they are, okay? And then we can go through and we can check all our answers. Boom. And yes, we got those 5 right. Good job. Okay, well done, everyone. So very good. Now, with this one, these are not only vocabulary ideas, these are statements. These are statements. And I'm curious how much you agree or disagree with those statements, as it says up here. It says here, tell your partner if you agree or disagree. Now, in this format, we can't do it that way. Let's do it as a poll, okay? Let's see. We're just going to do 3. So if I launch the poll on the screen now, okay, how much do you agree with these 3 statements? So for example, if someone can tell a good joke or a humorous story that makes people laugh, they often find it easier to make friends. Do you agree? Are you not sure? Or do you disagree? And then similarly for the other 2 statements. Okay, right. So if you can fill those in, okay, as either agree or not sure or disagree. If you're watching on a phone or somehow else, you might not be able to see the poll, but that's okay. We will summarize the poll in a second. Okay, so I'm just going to give it another 10 seconds or so. We'll get a few more people here. There seems to be some broad themes emerging from this. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we will pause it there and end the poll. Great, and then we will share the results. So it seems like almost everybody agrees with the first statement that people who can tell a good joke or story, maybe they find it easier to make friends. Okay, cool. For the second one, we've got general agreement, but there's some people not sure. Okay. Sometimes, yeah, it depends on maybe why it's problematic, or are the people laughing with us, or are we just laughing at them? There is a difference between those two phrases. We'll talk about that later. Okay. And then the last one, again, general agreement. We've got some people who are not sure and a couple who disagree. A lot of my friends think they can tell funny stories, but only a few of them are good at it, right? Yeah, that can sometimes be true. Okay, there's a lot of skill in telling good jokes. Okay, good one. Okay, so we'll stop that. So this one would be more of a discussion. This would practice your speaking skills more. Okay, now down here, it's got some different types of things that might make you laugh. So we've got 4 here. It says we've got a situational comedy or a sitcom, like a TV show. Okay. We've got a news comedy, something like Trevor Noah when he was on The Daily Show or something like that, right? Or one of those kinds of shows. A sketch comedy, okay, which is usually a made-up story that's just funny, right? And sometimes it's done on the stage, okay? And the prank reality show, okay, where you play practical jokes on people, right? So which of those 4 do you find you like the most? Which do you like the most? And then can you tell me why do you like them the most? Right? So which of these makes you laugh, basically? Which ones do you like the most? So for example, for me, I think all of those can make me laugh. I'm not such a big fan of the prank reality show, because playing tricks on people like that, it's funny, but, you know, sometimes they don't think it's funny, you know, depending on the prank. Right. But a good comedian, like someone like the news comedy show, like a Trevor Noah kind of person, I like them. They tell some good jokes sometimes. They're quite funny. Yeah. A lot of people like sitcoms. Yeah, I agree. I like them as well. Yep. There's a lot of fun sitcoms out there. Yeah. Cool. Prank shows. Yeah. Okay, cool. Very funny to watch other people. Yep. No, good. So we've all got ideas, and this is why we can start discussing, and we can find out that between different people, again, we're not all the same. We have different reasons, or maybe we have strong opinions about some of these forms of comedy. Okay. So like I kind of have a strongish opinion about prank reality shows and practical jokes. I think sometimes they can be a little bit hurtful, for example. Okay. Yeah, exactly. I kind of agree with Marie Rose. Very good. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to jump ahead. Now, there is a video here, okay? And if you look at this picture, why is that funny? Or does that make you laugh? Kind of makes me laugh. It's just the right angle, isn't it? Just the right angle that the photographer got to make a fun photo here. Yeah. But you can get some interesting photos like this, some interesting ideas. Okay, so over here we have a video, and it's going to talk about a few different types of humor. Okay, so these are slapstick humor, self-deprecating humor, okay, surreal humor, practical jokes, and wordplay. Now, this video is quite long, so I'm not actually going to do all of it, right? So if I open the video, you can see that the video is over 5 minutes long. So in class, you've got a really long video like this. Do you just play the whole thing or not? I don't, right? What I'm going to do is what I often do with my students. I'm going to play you short pieces, okay? I'm going to play you the introduction, and I'm going to play you one piece near the end, okay? Now, I've got a task for you as you watch each of these pieces. So for the first piece, as you watch this first part of the video, I want you to find the things or the ideas in here that you find funny. There are some general things here, and there are some things that maybe are funny to some people. So I want you to watch, and later you can tell me which are the things that you thought were funny. Okay, you can tell us what they were. Okay, so I'm going to play you about 50 seconds. So let's get going.
When was the last time you laughed? Really laughed? If you can't remember, then you might not be laughing enough. Research suggests that laughing relieves stress and helps us live longer. So, what makes us laugh? Well, that depends on the person. In different countries, different kinds of humor are popular. Let's take a look at 5 of the most common types of humor and where they're popular.
Okay, so you've seen the first 50 seconds. We've had the introduction. So what things did you see that were funny, that made you laugh a little bit? What things did you see that made you laugh? And this, again, is something you could do as a peer discussion. You could get students to do this with each other, right? Taking the photos with friends, you thought that was funny? Okay, cool, nice. Good. A couple of you are still using the girl doing mouth tricks. Yeah, the girl who's like this with her mouth. That takes some talent. The animals thing. Yep. Okay. The silly chair games. Okay. The funny expressions. The animals. Yep. Yep. Yeah. Cool. So there's quite a few things there that we may have found funny or amusing. I thought the chair races thing was pretty funny, or the boss's reaction is like, "What's going on here?" Anyway. So that was quite funny, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump ahead to near the end. So you can see there's quite a lot of video here. I'm going to jump through to here, and we're going to watch the last piece of this video, which is about something called wordplay. And then we're going to have a chat about it. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look.
Wordplay, in contrast to slapstick and practical jokes, is humor that comes from words, often words with 2 meanings. Jokes that we tell each other are often a form of wordplay. There are many kinds of wordplay. One example is puns, where the wrong meaning of a word is used. The study into favorite jokes found that more people from Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, and the UK laughed at wordplay than people from other English-speaking countries. Given that the jokes were all in English, it's hard to compare with other countries. Of course, the difference between these kinds of humor is not always so clear.
Okay, right. So what did you see or what did you read there that you found funny in that little piece of video about wordplay? Did you see any of the puns? The no reaction, right? Yeah, that was kind of funny. The big fan, yep. You don't think they're funny, that's fine. And this is good. This is where the discussion starts, right? Okay. The chemistry without reaction. Yeah, true. So this is a pun. This is the word play, the way the words go a little bit unusual, right? So what we can, and as someone said in the chat box, Lyndon, I think, has said, she said they didn't think they were funny, right? And that's the thing, because not everybody finds those things funny, or sometimes we don't quite understand the word because maybe we don't know it. And this is a good way to understand how well your students are doing in their English. If they can understand these kinds of jokes in English, you know they're more developed in their English language abilities, right? Yeah, these kind of witty jokes, exactly, Janine. Okay, cool. So what we're going to have a look at is we're going to kind of think about, in your language, does wordplay exist? Does this actually happen, right? So we're going to jump over these earlier activities here. And we're going to jump down to here. And there's a couple of phrases to know, which I mentioned earlier: laughing about, laughing at, and laughing with, right? So before we get into doing jokes, what do we think about laughing about, laughing at, and laughing with? What's the difference between these three? If I laugh about something, that's different to I laugh at someone, is different to I laugh with someone. What's the difference here? Okay, so laugh about is the topic, Marie. Good. Yeah. So I laugh about the funny situation from yesterday. I laugh about the memory of the comedy show, right? Okay. So yeah, exactly, Linda. I laugh about events or stories or things like that. That's what I laugh about. Okay. Now, laugh at people or laugh with people. What's the difference? What's the difference between laugh at people or laugh with people? So yeah, you laugh at certain real things, but yeah. So if you laugh at someone, then you think it's funny and you're laughing at them for doing something silly, right? And laugh with is more together, right? Okay, so for example, on the radio this morning, as I drove to somewhere where I was going this morning, on the radio, the radio hosts were joking together about one of the radio hosts has a new dog, and the dog has become very expensive because it has to keep going to the vet to get surgery. It swallowed a bone and he had to have surgery and all of this sort of stuff. And the other people, they were all kind of laughing together about, yeah, this dog's kind of expensive and, it's cost a lot of money and I shouldn't have got the dog, right? So they're laughing with each other. They're laughing with the owner of the dog. But then one of the people, the person who doesn't own the dog, says something about, I heard of someone who once spent more than $40,000 on their dog like this. And all of a sudden the other person goes quiet, right? And we didn't actually find out, but I think he's probably spent like that or maybe more on his dog, right? And so the person who didn't own the dog was laughing at the person who has the dog, and this person now doesn't feel so good anymore, right? Because he's being laughed at and it's not laughing with, right? So there's a difference, right? So when we tell jokes or when we have fun, which one do you think is better? Do you think it's better to laugh with people or to laugh at people? Which one do you think is nicer? Yeah, laugh with, right? Good. And it's really important to understand the difference because that's a small difference in English that has a very big impact on your relationships, perhaps, right? So very, very important to use the right words. Okay, now let's take a look. There's a couple of jokes down here. And I want to see, do you think these jokes are funny? So joke number one, why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7 ate 9. Who thinks that joke's funny? Okay, so some of you like that one, 8, right? Yeah, it's a pun, right? It's a double meaning of a word. And Maria's like, no, I don't find that funny. No. Okay, right? Yeah, so sometimes we find jokes funny or not funny. And that's the thing with humor. Not everybody finds everything funny in the same way. Okay, cool. Okay, now what about this one? This one's a little bit different. So that's a word play, right? Let's have a look at this one. Can I have a coffee without milk? Sorry, we don't have any milk, but you can have it without cream. What do you think of that one? You don't get it. Okay, that's fine, Mummy. That's fine, because some other people don't get it as well, right? Other people are like, no, that's not funny. Alejandro's like, yeah, that's funny. Okay, so everybody's different, right? For some people, you're like, why is that funny? Because it's like, this is what we would call surreal humor. It doesn't make any sense, right? Someone's saying, well, we don't have milk, so I can't give you a coffee without milk. But we have cream, so I can give you one without cream. Because maybe they're like, I'm putting cream in all the coffee today, right? And it's like, yeah, this is strange, right? And as someone in the chat box just said, who's Chinese, they say, feels cold. A cold joke in Chinese is something that's just like, yeah, that doesn't warm me up. It doesn't make me laugh. It's like, yeah, it's a cold joke, right? Yeah, okay. Rightio. Now, what about the next one? Have you ever felt like your entire life is just a big school exam? Yes, but I'm certain that I forgot to study for it. How do you feel about that one? Okay, some people like that one. Cool, a bit tragic, yeah, kind of funny. Yeah, okay. So this one is called self-deprecating humor, right? This one is the humor where you make fun of yourself, right? Your entire life is just a big exam. Yeah, and I'm not doing well on it. So it seems like I didn't study, right? Because my life isn't going very well, perhaps, right? Yeah. Okay. So let's have a think. Do these kinds of jokes, do these word play jokes kind of exist in your language as well? Or are these like kind of no, they don't really work that way? Yes, they do, says E. E Leo says yes. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Now, I know when you translate jokes, they don't really work, but just in case there is someone who speaks your language in the group today, if you know a little joke in your native language, can you pop it in the chat box in your native language, in your first language? And maybe other people can have a bit of a laugh, right? And with students, you can do this too. I know your students, generally speaking, all have the same home language or first language, so they will know jokes that they can tell each other. And then we can see, do they still make sense when they're in English or not, right? Okay. Yeah, cool. But I've got a couple for you. And sometimes jokes go across language a little bit, right? Okay, but sometimes they involve language. Let's take a look. I've got a couple of examples over here. Let's see what you think of these ones. So we've done that one. That's cool. So here's a joke. Let's see what you think of this one. I don't know if you know this one or not. A piece of rope goes into a bar. The barkeeper looks at the rope and says, "Hey, you, get out of here. We don't serve rope in this bar." So what happens? Oops, sorry. The chat box is in the road. The rope sadly leaves. Then it twists and tangles itself up and it messes up its hair. And then it goes back into the bar. And the barkeeper says, "Hey, aren't you that same piece of rope that was in here earlier?" And the rope says, "No, I'm afraid not." Does that make sense to everybody? Or nobody? Maybe it makes sense to nobody. Ah, you get it. Okay, good. So this is one where this one's a little easier because the phrase is more common, right? Afraid not, right? And sometimes you can find jokes like this and they're in visual images as well. Like I found a cartoon of exactly the same joke. And then you can see what it looks like and maybe it makes a little bit more sense, right? Okay. And there's other ones. Now this, I'll show you my favorite wordplay pun. Every time I see this, I'm thinking about it now and it makes me laugh. But some people I know, you won't get it or you won't like it, right? But this one always makes me laugh when I just hear it. I don't even have to see it because I can imagine it, right? And it's this, oh, sorry, oh, where did he go? It's gone. Oh no, he's gone. Hang on, I need to paste him in. Hang on. I need to get the joke. What happened to it? It's this one. Let me copy the image and let me paste it in here. Is that going to work? No, it doesn't want to work. Okay, I have to do it this way then. Because I don't. I love this particular one and it always makes me laugh. I don't know why it isn't in here. This one. Preserve wildlife. Pickle a squirrel. Does anyone get that? Or is it just me? This one always makes me laugh. Okay, so some people get it. Good, okay. Yeah, I love this one. I love the image as well. Okay, cool. But then there's other little things as well. Now this is kind of a limerick. It's a little joke, a little tale, but it's kind of funny as well. See what you think of this one. 1-1 was a racehorse. 2-2 was 1-2. 1-1 won one race one day, and 2-2 won 1-2. Does that one make sense? Or is that just weird? Okay, for some people it's like a math thing, I don't know, right? But there's all these sorts of things. So what about in your language? Do you have jokes or tales or limericks or funny little things like this? Can you give us an example? And if you have to write it in your home language, that is totally fine. Put it in the chat box. Put it in the chat box. Maybe it's like a preserve wildlife, pickle a squirrel thing, but it's something you say in Chinese or Vietnamese or Thai or something, I don't know, right? Right? If you've got one, put it in the chat box, okay? You need to think about it, says Linda, that's fine. Sometimes you do, right? Sometimes we do need to think about these. I'm just moving this for later when I do this session again later today. Okay. Oh, here's one. Thank you, Ching. Ching's put one in the chat box. Let's see if the other Chinese speakers know this one, right? And how do we call a Mexican who lost his key? I don't know. He can't open his door, so now he's a Mexicant? Carlos. Oh, I like that one. That's good. Carlos. Oh, I like it. That's good. Very cool. Oh, dear. Tongue twisters make you laugh, Marie. Yeah, very cool. I can. I saw. Okay. Okay. Very good. Oh, these are good. I like these. Tongue twisters are fun. They are indeed. Okay. So yeah, anyway, what we can do in this lesson is now that we've got the students started on humor, we can get them to tell each other jokes. And if we jump back to the content, if I jump back to here, we can get them to help figure out what kind of humor is that and does everybody like it? And we can get into these discussions, right, about the styles of humor and why people find these things funny and whether or not they're really funny or they're just being hurtful to other people, and et cetera, right? Very good. What was Diana's one? It's just a flesh wound? I missed that one, Diana, or did I miss the beginning? Anyway, okay, very good. Okay, so let's go down, and now what we're going to do is we're going to switch. So we've been doing the reading and writing the speaking and listening content. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch. Oh, go away. I'm going to switch to the reading and writing content. So if I jump over to here, then now I'm in the same unit, the matching unit for the reading and writing content. So you can see that this is also talking about laughter, but now we're doing it in a reading and writing context. Okay. Oh, Monty Python, Diana. Yes. No, I get that one. The Night. Yes. Very good. Okay. So this one is going to be more reading based. The activities here are more reading based, right? So what we're going to do is, or visual based, right? We're going to jump over to here, and there is a video. Now, if you just look at that picture, it says down here, predict. What do you think this video is about? So when you look at this, what do you see, and what do you think this video is going to be about? Mimicking, okay. Why do you think it's mimicking, Ani? And I would get you to explain more because it's good to practice your language more, right? Why do you think it's mimicking? What about this image? Fun days with an orangutan, okay. A monkey imitates a baby, okay. Copying the orangutan, the baby's copying the orangutan, okay. Similar reactions make things funny, okay. A girl playing with a monkey, or an orangutan in this case. Orangutans being apes, not monkeys, of course. Okay. The baby copies the orangutan's moves. Okay. I'm not sure that they're actually copying each other. I think that they're both just young and crawling and they just happen to hit the same pose, right? But it is a funny picture, right? The hairstyle, maybe, could be. Lele, I like that, right? How animals express emotions. Let's take a look, right? Let's take a look at what this video is about. So I'm going to play, I'm going to play a little bit of this. Let's see what we've got in here. I think I might play most of this. So just watch and enjoy, and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Okay?
Laughter is part of being human. Laughter comes naturally to babies. It's easy to make them laugh by making faces or making noises. Babies love to play games with their family. Games, especially simple ones like peekaboo, amuse them and make them laugh. And when babies laugh, that usually makes other people laugh too, especially their parents. Laughing together helps make their relationship closer and stronger. But humans are not the only animals that laugh.
Now, question, that dad, what type of humor did he use? What type of humor did he use as he's coming towards the window? Physical humor, yeah, slapstick humor, exactly, good, nice. Okay, let's keep going.
Primates, such as chimpanzees and gorillas, laugh too. And like humans, they laugh when a person or other primate tickles them. Of course, Their laughter doesn't sound exactly like human laughter. But tickling and laughing are a part of primate play, just as they are for humans.
Very good. What do you think of that? What do you think of the reaction of the little chimpanzee there? Huge, right? And how similar is that to a human baby when you play the same sort of game, right? Seems very similar, right? He's like, pulls the hands away and the chip's watching, waiting for the next thing to go, right? It's pretty much the same thing, right? It's very, very interesting, right? Anyway, easy to laugh, indeed it is, right? Okay, so yeah, so let's have a look. What did we learn in the video? When we listened to or watched the video, what did we see here? So let's quickly go through these things and see if we can get them all. What do we have here? Okay, human babies laugh from their parents. Which ones are true? Human babies learn to laugh from their parents. Is that true or not? So just number one, yes or no, right? Number two, yes or no. So you're thinking false. Okay. Number two, just put in the number and then the letter of what it is. You can read all of these. I'll scroll down a little, right? Laughter is a natural human behavior. Babies spend more time laughing than crying. Simple games often make babies laugh. Laughter helps build relationships. Okay, so you're thinking, someone's thinking these two. Number one is true. Number two is true. Okay, not sure. Babies spend what? So we're thinking they're all true? Three is false. Okay, rightio. Okay. What about these ones down here? What about these five? The animals, other animals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which ones are good? Okay. Oh, so Xingshu, you're thinking Xingshu. Sorry, you're thinking that one's false. Okay, let's go with that. Let's try. So this one, you think. Which ones do we think are good here? Did it say anything about zoos? No, it didn't say anything about zoos, did it? We don't know that one. Yeah. Everybody laughs, right? They laugh when they're tickled. We saw that. It's a different type of laughter. Natural part of play. Yeah, I think that one's true. I think these ones might be right. Let's check our answers and let's see. Oh, okay. Oh, cats and dogs. Cats and dogs apparently don't laugh. Okay, so apart from that, though, yeah, we got them right. So yeah, not cats and dogs. It's primates. Sorry, I got that wrong. That's me. Okay, very good. Okay, so let's get rid of that one. Now, let's jump across. We're going to look at a different activity. We're going to look over here. Okay. There's a couple of questions here, and I want you to think about these for a moment. Do you think that laughter is an innate behavior or something we learn to do? So number one, is it innate or is laughter learned? Which one? Which one do you think? Janine thinks it's innate. Yeah, I think they mentioned that in the video, didn't they? Okay, what human feelings or behavior do you think are contagious? What things are contagious? Well, we sometimes say laughter is contagious because you start laughing and then I start laughing, right? Yeah. Yawning, I like that one. So if I yawn, how many of you just yawned? Okay. Yep. Sneezing can be contagious, Sandy. I like that one. Smiles are contagious, Ani. I think that's very, very true. Yeah. Bad moods, Chinshu. Yes, I think that can be contagious as well. Very crying, maybe. Yeah, good. Okay, now, number three, can you distinguish between real and fake laughter? Can you distinguish between real and fake laughter? So if I laugh and maybe I'm real or maybe I'm faking, can you tell the difference? Interesting, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of reading on research into humor and laughter. And that's this one, The Origins of Laughter. Okay. Now, we could read it here as we go through. Okay. It's a fairly long passage. We're not going to read all of it. And then we're going to do a couple of activities here. Okay. Well, we're going to focus on one mainly. So this one here. So if we look at this one, it's about the origins of laughter. It's quite long, but I'm just going to give you a quick sample of what the activity is like. So to do that, I'm going to open the activity this way. So we've got the activity on one side, we've got the reading on another, we can put them right beside each other and we can try and figure out what connects. Now, in the article, in this long article, there are three groups of researchers. There's Provine, Gervais and Wilson, and Bryant. And we're looking at what's their statements or their propositions or the things they've shown or that they've studied. Okay, what research ideas, what ideas or evidence go with which particular researcher or researchers. Okay, and we've got some different statements here that we have to try and do. So let's just focus. Well, we have to focus a little bit. Let's just focus on the first 3 or 4, maybe up to number 4. So 2 types of laughter probably emerged about 2 million years apart. That's one idea we're looking for. Laughter improves social relationships. That's another idea. Humans can hear the difference between involuntary and voluntary laughter. Okay, so I don't do it on purpose, or I do it on purpose. Laughter may have emerged as the size of social groups increased. Okay, so we're going to focus on those 4 ideas and let's read through. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to read it out to you. I'm just going to let you read it. And we're going to go down. And when you think you know the answer to one of these top 4 questions, you tell me who, which person. So was this one Pervez? Was this one Wilson? Was this one Bryant? Or was it nobody? Okay. I'll let you read through. Okay. So in the first paragraph, do you find anything that matches with these 4 here? Did you find anything here, or are we just skip to the next one? Is there anything here that helps us in the first paragraph? Doesn't seem to be, does it? Very good. Okay, so let's jump down to the second one. Okay, first of all, we're not the only species that laughs. Most primates, including chimpanzees and gorillas, engage in some form of laughter, though it does not sound like human laughter. Their laughter is easiest to see and hear if a person or another animal tickles them. Okay, we saw that earlier. Scientists believe that chimp laughter may be a way to show that the activity was just fun and not threatening. Okay, so any of these things coming up so far, or not yet? No? Yes? No? Doesn't seem to be. Okay, we're agreeing here. Okay, so down here, now one thing we can look for to help us go faster, we can look to see if these names appear. And if I look at the 3rd paragraph, there are no names in this paragraph. Yep, so that can't be one of the answers to this task. And it might be an interesting paragraph, but it's not going to help us, right? Okay. So in here, it does say most scientists agree that laughter has been part of social relationships, but that's not one of these people, is it? It's just scientists in general. So that's not what we're looking for. Let's go down to paragraph 4. Okay. Scientists are also interested in the characteristics of different kinds of laughter. One influential theory is proposed by Matthew Gervais and David Sloan Wilson. They believe there are actually 2 types of laughter that have emerged at different times in human history. The first laughter may have emerged as early as 4 million years ago, probably before speech. This laughter is an innate behavior. You don't need to learn to do it. It is also involuntary. In other words, you cannot plan it or easily control it. It just happens, like when someone tickles you. Finally, it can be contagious. Okay. Now, did this go with, so you think 1 is Gervais and Watson? No, Wilson, sorry. Okay. Well, it says 4 million years. It doesn't say that there's anything about 2 million years apart, but maybe that's coming later. Maybe leave that one there for now, but we have to check, is that the right number? Is that, yeah. Okay. We'll check that later. Okay. Cool. Okay. Let's get down to the next one. Robert Provine, an expert in laughter, believes that involuntary laughter kept and still keeps social relationships positive and friendly in social groups. Laughter is a signal that we're all friends. There is no trouble here. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so do we have something in paragraph 5 that gives us one of the answers here? Yeah, so number 2 goes with Provine, right? Looks like that's the way that one fits together. Okay. Cool. And then we can keep going down and we can keep looking at these things. Oh, here's the other bit. The second type of laughter 2 million years ago. Okay, I think now that one's correct now. Okay, that one seems to make sense. Okay. And then we can keep going through and look for the other answers. And there's quite a few things we're looking for here. Okay. Now you might ask, it's a good reading task, but why are we really focused on this point about evidence and things that are in here? Well, if I jump ahead, if I close this and I jump ahead. So we're doing some reading tasks. We're looking for details. We're looking at main ideas, things like that. And then later on, we do some more reading, right? We go through a few different bits of reading. We'll do one in a moment as just to wrap up. But then our writing task is these students are going to write a research report where they're going to look for sources and research ideas, and then they're going to write them up like that article. So they're going to produce a research report or an essay, if you will, but it's really about research that looks something like this. Okay. And so the way we help them to do that is we do a model, and then we break the model down into lots of little pieces. So applying, for example, we want to look at the different references we had. We want to look at how we're going to summarize things in different steps and what's the structure going to be, right? We're going to look at modifiers that we have in things. So what phrases and things are going to be really useful to us, and how does the grammar work? And then we're going to go in and break it down into lots of little pieces here, where we can look at our research and talk about the different types of things, do some research on ourselves, plan it out, outline it, then we're going to draft it, we're going to revise it, we're going to edit it, and we're going to produce a final thing. So it's a very thorough writing process that we take the students through. And obviously that's going to take 2 or 3 lessons to go through all the stages and give the students time to write everything up, or to do outside of class as part of their own work in their own time. Okay? Cool. So you can see there's a lot of writing tasks in here as well to help the students develop their writing skills. Okay. But the last thing I want to do is go back to one of the reading activities, which is this one here. We're not going to read the article, because what we're going to do is also with reading, you've got to build the skills of looking at things like graphs and tables, right? So let's take a look at this graph that's at the bottom of table, excuse me, that's at the bottom of the page here. How often do men and women laugh? Now, this is referred in the article. Here's Proveen again. It talks about who's speaking, who's listening, how many times the laughter happened, and what percentages there were. Okay. So my task for you is when you read, when you look at this information, what ideas can you pull out of that information? Right? Sometimes they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. Well, a table is worth at least 500, right? Okay. So what kinds of information or ideas can we pull out of Proveen's data? What can we see here? What patterns can we see? What things can we identify? Women seem to laugh the most. Okay, and you're saying that maybe because of this 502? Is that the reason you're saying that? So we can also get the students to explain why, right? Looking at the percentages, okay. Women laugh easier than men, maybe. Male speakers can make more people laugh. Because you're looking at the listener and how often they laugh, and so the men speaking makes more laughter happen here, maybe. Okay, males tend more to listening than laughing, okay, possibly. Okay, speakers laugh more than listeners, okay. Yeah, because you're telling your own joke and it's funny to you, but maybe it's not funny to them, maybe it's something like that, yeah. Women need to laugh more, maybe. Women react to men more often with laughter than the other way around. So female listening to male, 71%, male listening to female, 38%. That's interesting, right? Very interesting. Now, here's the one that I noticed that maybe you didn't pick up so far. If you look at men with men and women with women, there's more laughter there than male, female, and female, male. See how little laughter there is here, but there's so much more up here. Isn't that interesting? It seems like between people of similar gender, there is greater humor and greater laughter. Maybe it's more understanding of the situation or something like that. We get the jokes. I don't know, right? We get the stories, we understand. Because laughter a lot of the time is about context as well, isn't it? Situation and understanding. Yeah. Okay. Quite interesting, right? Okay. So while this may have been interesting for you as a topic in its own right, man, I've learned some things about laughter and humor today. Remember that this is an English language lesson, right? And I've been using the topic of laughter. We've been using the unit topic of laughter to talk about ideas and things. What language skills and what other skills do you think we've worked on during this lesson today? And remembering that it maybe seems very easy and conversational and very natural because these learners, remember I said this level is B2. These are quite capable users of English. They can discuss and do these things more often. But in what we did today, what do you think we've actually practiced and learned more? What have we done? And I might just jump back out to here, and we might just make a note or two as we go. Yeah, so we've done some basic listening and reading. Yeah, we definitely did some of that. We did a little bit of video watching and identifying some things. Oops, my touchpad's gone off. Oh no, there we go. Okay. Yep, so we've done some of these things here, right? What else did we work on? Examples, okay. Yeah, we've done some examples of things, right? What else have we done that benefits our English learners? Yeah, some more advanced communication skills, Niels. Yeah, because maybe I've been asking people for, tell me why, right? Give me reasons, right? We want our students to do a lot more of this sort of thing. Maybe a bit of scanning, true, Alejandro, that could be true. Some critical thinking. Yep. Yep, finding evidence and reading. Yeah, sure. Yeah, which is actually a good skill regardless of whether you're doing English or not. Yeah, improving relationships, true. But critical thinking, sure, okay. A lot of the time, especially in the first half of what I did, I said, and now I get the students to talk together, right? The more they're doing speaking with each other, the faster they're going to build their fluency and understanding abilities and just those little interactions that make communication work. They're going to be practicing those a lot more than just listening and talking to me, right? Okay, so that's going to be really important too, okay? But also things like, tell us your ideas, share with us why you feel that way. It's really getting into more of this sort of stuff, right? Reasons and the why, and tell me more, give me more detail, explain more, right? Wanting my students to express a lot more of what's going on. Yeah, okay. You want to know more about the writing, Lele? Is that correct? Yeah. Well, if that's the case, you can ask us questions and we'll give you some more answers later on, right? Okay, cool. But anyway, this was just kind of an example. It was very quick and we only touched on certain pieces of the content, but I hope it gives you a little bit of an idea about this kind of program and developing some of these kinds of skills. Okay, today, as you said, we're looking at communication skills. There might have been creativity if we're trying to make up or explain jokes, maybe some emotional intelligence to try and relate to different ideas, right? There's different things that are going on in here that our students are developing alongside their English language abilities, right? And this is why these programs are really going to help our students as they grow up and become, adults who are leading the way in the future. Okay, very good. So I hope you found that interesting today. I will be sending you a recording link and a certificate tomorrow. Those will come out to you tomorrow. So do check your email. If you don't get the email by about lunchtime, just let me know. I'll make sure to get it to you. Okay. We do have another webinar coming up soon by my colleague Will next Thursday. Let me get you the web link for that one. So you can go straight to NGL webinars, NGL-Asia/webinars, and you can see Will do his thing. And he's also using a higher level program and he's talking about identity. How do we identify ourselves? How do other people identify themselves? Quite an interesting topic in today's world, right? Okay, now if you do want to find out more, like Lele wanted to find out more about this program, I'll drop another link. This is a link to the program in the chat box. You can find out more information there. But if you want to find out other information, I'll also send it in the email tomorrow. And you can always ask me questions as well. If you've got questions about any of this, you can always just let me know. Okay, very good. You've all got my email address, I know. Okay. Very good. Lele, does anyone get Lele's joke in the chat box? What's that? Or the other way you can do it is you can do it this way as well. Does anyone know that one? It's Chinese. It's in Chinese. Because in Chinese, the number 3 is san. So if you say 3Q, that's the same as saying thank you or thank you. Okay. So thank you very much, everybody. Very good. Okay, I hope you enjoy your day, but if anyone does have any questions, please let me know now. I'm happy to stay on for a few more minutes and answer questions. But do check tomorrow for an email, and I'll send you a follow-up with more information about this program and things as well. Okay? So any questions? Thank you, everybody. And for those of you in Cambodia, drop me an email because I'm going to be in Cambodia in about 3 weeks. No, sorry, 7 weeks. Sorry, what I'm saying. End of July, end of the first week of July, I'm in Cambodia. So drop me a mail and we'll get in touch. Okay? And Bali, sorry, I don't think I'm getting to Bali. I need to find out. I don't know my itinerary yet, Beatrix. Let me find out and I'll let you know. Okay, Sandy has a question. If students don't understand wordplay or puns, how do teachers fix the embarrassment? Okay, Sandy, it's you go straight away to embarrassment, right? And I think you want to have your class in a way where people cannot understand something and not feel embarrassed, right? So if I'm doing this lesson with my students, I would start the whole thing by saying, some things today you may find funny. Some things you may not understand. That's okay. It doesn't matter. You don't need to feel bad about that. If you don't know, raise your hand. Now, if you do understand and someone doesn't understand, I don't want you to laugh at them, right? And we can get into that phrase and teach them that language, right? But you really have to make sure that the dynamic or the relationship or the function of your class is not going to have students feel bad like that, right? Because if students are embarrassed, then they're at a point on something called Maslow's hierarchy where they're just not going to learn, right? If you know Maslow's hierarchy, embarrassment would be somewhere near the bottom. We don't want to have embarrassment because then they can't get to the learning aspects, which are closer to the top, right? So yeah, so I would make sure that doesn't happen as much as possible by setting some rules before we start and making it a safe space to not understand, okay? So I hope that makes sense, Sandy, because yeah, it's a really important point you bring up. We don't want to have those kind of feelings in class, right? Very good. Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody. I'll let you get away. Enjoy your lunch or whatever's coming up for you next. Have a good day, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you very much. This afternoon, Lele, yes, I will be doing the same topic. It's at 6 p.m. Singapore time, which I think is the same time zone as you, right? So yeah, I will be doing just the same topic again with the same examples, right? So if you've seen it once, you don't need to come again. But if you have friends that want to come along, tell them to come along. If you found it fun and you think they might too, then tell them to come along. Okay? Good one. I hope to see you, Beatrix. I will find out. I will find out. And Linda, the email will come out tomorrow before lunchtime. Okay? Before lunchtime tomorrow. Very good. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day.